said, that is what you are of. And when you find yourself involved in that, you're committed to that area. And that is an order. And it's, in a sense, is a vow. So I believe that can be interpreted as initiation.
More specifically in regard to initiation, how is it that you first met Sunrod and Sunrod brought you in to his organization, Brotherhood?
Well, that's two separate to answering. That is, one is I'm involved when I first heard of Sunrod, met him, and how I got involved to play with Sunrod is another. And I first met Sunrod in 68 in Berkeley, California. He was playing there at the San Francisco Art Institute, and I had heard of him prior to that, about a year before that. So I went to see him, and he happened to be staying also with a friend of mine who was a poet, and he was kind enough to allow Sunrod to live with him. So I knew this friend of mine, and I met Sunrod there. And that was in 68. And from 68, when I heard the music, I didn't forget it. In fact, it was to me as life. And then I saw him again in 71, and I heard him. And what I felt then in 68, it was a newness, something that I could feel naturally and be involved, something that I had to, something that I requested, something that must be stated. And I just couldn't let it go. Then he came again in 74, the ending of 74. And then I happened to be playing on an engagement with him at San Francisco State. And I asked him if I may play along with him. I sit in on some of the pieces, percussion pieces, and he allowed me to. And then after that, I just asked him, may I make some of the rehearsals? And after that, I didn't even ask. I just said, Sunrod, I'm leaving with you to New York. And that was quite astounding to him because he never felt that, I had that. I don't know what he ever felt, but the fact is he allowed me to come. And perhaps he did feel that. He was impressed, and I wanted to just commit myself to that.
And when you were first starting to play with Sunrod, did he sit down with you and tell you how to play? I mean, specific instructions? I always wonder if Sunrod, because there's such a communal sound, whether or not he has to sit down with
Well,
people.
how involves, instructional ability, and that's definitely what he does, but it may not be that conveyance and that medium of, let's say, technical ability on the instrument. It'll tell you how to play in terms of how sound is in its order and how sound can orderly attain order.
Well, with that, I think we should take a break and hear some music with Damon Choice on it. Just so you'll know, we're here on WKCR FM New York 89.9 in the middle of our Sunrod Festival. Now, Damon, you've been on a few different albums. The one we have queued up now is
Dance of Innocent Passion.
Dance of Innocent Passion. Now, unfortunately, this is one of those records that has no real liner notes on it, but we'll see what we can do about organizing who's on the record. He's shaking his head now because he doesn't remember, but we will, at the end of this cut, come back on and tell you who is on it. Queued up is Omnisonicism, I think that's the name of it, with Sunrod and the orchestra and Damon Choice. And that was Sunrod and his orchestra. You are tuned to WKCR FM New York. And this is Andy Rotman, your host, with Charles Blass and Damon Choice, the vibraphonist on that composition. We've been listening to Omnisonicism from Sunrod's album Dance of Innocent Passion, and that's with Sunrod on organ, Richard Williams on bass, Harry Wilson on vibes, Lukman Ali on drums, Marshall Allen on alto saxophone, flute, and oboe, Arcatoon percussion, Vincent Chansey on French horn, and Vincent was up earlier today, John Gilmore on tenor saxophone, Reggie McDonald on drums, Skeeter McFarland on guitar, Walter Miller on trumpet, Michael Ray on trumpet, and Taylor Richardson on guitar. Now, as I look at this, Damon, and of course, Damon Choice also on vibes. Now, as I look at this, Damon, Sunrod seems to pair up musicians. I see there are two guitars, two vibraphonists. Why do you think that is compositionally that Sunrod does that?
Well, it makes no difference, because I've heard Sunrod play in the band, and when I wasn't in the band, play with a multiplicity of horns and few percussions. Then I've heard him just the opposite, all kinds of percussions, and the overall impact is still Sunrod. And I don't think that it has any particulars in the sense that he may have 5 vibers, which are 5 basses, which I've seen him play with, and it doesn't seem have any difference in the sense that he wants and asserts it. I want to assert a particular sound because the sound overall appears to be Sunrod, undoubtedly.
Well, I have another question for you. When Sunrod was up here, he was talking about the importance of percussion in his music, and how important it is that it's rhythmically correct in writing out drum parts. Now, the vibes are obviously a percussive instrument, and I was wondering how you feel you fit in that percussive sense, that overall percussive sense.
As you state, I am percussion. However, though, that's one of the things I learned from Sunrod, that is, percussion is still tonal. And I learned to recognize and realize that percussions are melodic.
Mm-hmm.
They are playing melody in every stroke. They are playing movements, chord progressions. And I also have the ability to play in a chordal context, and at the same time percussion, and it brought the two together. I mean, it's not percussion in the sense that you're just beating on something, but that you're sounding something. I've seen Sunrod in certain instances hire a percussionist, a conga player, and when it comes to the pieces where the conga player has observed, or he was familiar, or he may intend that he may feel that he could be involved. Sunrod has, instructed them to lay out totally and just, feel and see rhythm in another context, that they didn't have to be involved beating percussion, or beating, that is to say, rhythmically, but however tonally stating themselves.
So that's something that you have learned from Sunrod?
Definitely.
And continue to use in your own music?
Correct.
Now, is that something that you find that you can teach other musicians, or is that one of the reasons perhaps that you use so many of Sunrod?
Well, it can be taught because it's about, allowing, even when I involve myself with singers, I make it so that the impact of their sound is percussive. And when they're using a fork, when they're slapping their hand on the table, it's percussive and it's also tonal. And that's important. And it can be taught. It can be of some use. And it's definitely instructional.
Well, this is a question we've asked many people who've been up here. But during a performance of the orchestra, how do you feel? I mean, some people have said that they felt like linked. I mean, as though they're all one giant being. Others have said it's just a thrill that's indescribable. How is it that you feel during a performance of the orchestra?
I feel, and it's not about being a link, because when I feel, I'm there, and it's all, and it's not about it being about a part. It's about being, and it's total. It's weird. It's stressful.
But it's good.
Definitely. It's stressful and it's good. And that's how you allow yourself to be involved and to endure. It's really an impact. Once I was playing with Sunrod, I don't know how, I heard something else that was not included in the music, something very loud and clear. Another sound entirely. And I don't know, I can't account for it. And I'm responsible for, involving myself into being that. And it's quite an impact to hear a sound and its arrangement. What can be brought about, what it is about. Sound is language.
Well, seeing as that was the beginning of a Sunrod story, a requirement now for everyone who comes up is they have to tell one Sunrod story of your choice. Could be about a time on the road or a time in the recording studio, something unique.
I was living with Sunrod in Philadelphia. It was a 3-story house. I came home in the afternoon about 4 o'clock and went straight upstairs. At the end of the stairs is Sunrod's room, and to the left of that particular room is the bathroom. I went to the door of Sunrod's room, and then he had a curtain hanging. So I didn't want to go inside and interrupt anything, because I heard him talking. He was talking on the telephone with someone I know whom we converse with regularly. And I paused. I heard him talking, and I didn't want to interrupt. So then I went to the bathroom, and I just hesitated, procrastinated there just to wait till he complete his conversation. And when I thought he was completed, I went to the door and I knocked on the door and I looked inside and there was no Sunrod. I found out he wasn't there later. And this is unique to me because
pretty unique.
I found out later that he was downtown and he was talking to this particular person I thought he was talking to somewhere else in Philadelphia downtown.
Oh.
Well, that ranks up high on the list of Sunrod stories, David.
You can expect anything.
Well, this is Damon Choice up here at our studios at WKCR FM New York 89.9, helping us to present to you the Sunrod Festival Radioactivity. It's been 116 hours of Sunrod in total. We'll be finished tomorrow morning at 8:20, so we're pretty far along, but there's still a lot of great music. Originally designed for this slot was live music. We did bring you live in East Berlin, and we will be bringing you still the Cosmo Mystery Concert, a recording of the orchestra that was brought up to us by Sunrod and Spencer Weston, and that will be aired. And that will be aired, I'd say, in about an hour or so, and hopefully Pharaoh Abdullah will come up then too. But now we are back here with Damon Choice, telling us about his experiences with Sunrod. You have that smile on your face, Damon. What is it that you're thinking about? You look like you have something on your mind.
Not particularly. I'm just involved in just the human aspect, the humor aspect. That's one of the things I learned from Sunrod. That is, humor is a sense, and it's a sense that can be employed, and it can overcome any stress.
So how do you think Sunrod employs humor in his music?
Absurdity, profoundness, expertise. It's just an overwhelming, thrilling experience. People leave Sunrod concerts singing the music. You question yourself when you've left, some of the other concerts, Sweet Babes. Do you come out, involved? Or do you come out, with another order where your presence is?
Can you give an example of humor in the music?
Well, that's not particularly examples, but humor is a delightful sense. You have all your senses, and humor is a sense as well.
So it's just there.
Yeah. It's laughter. It's happiness. It's a state of presence in particular.
Well, let's present a little bit of that humor. I have here queued up the Sunrod album Strange Celestial Road, which Damon Choice is on, and we have a title cut from that album, Celestial Road, queued up, and that's with, the large ensemble, we'll call it that, and I'll give you the personnel in a little while, and that was recorded in New York City, and I'll give you the vitals after we hear from Celestial Road by Sunrod and the orchestra here at WKCR FM New York. And that was Sunrod from his album Strange Celestial Road, and I'm here with Charles Blass and Damon Choice here at WKCR FM New York. And Charlie, why don't you tell us who was on that album?
Okay, we have... Actually, why don't you hand me the jacket there, because they're listed in a slightly more readable order. We're dealing with the discography as well. Okay, this features the trumpets of Michael Ray, Kurt Pulliam, Walter Miller, vocals of June Tyson, of course, Rhoda Blunt. I wonder if they're any relation. Probably not. Trombone of Craig Harris, Tony Bethel. Vibes, Harry Wilson, Damon Choice, who's our featured guest at the moment. Bass of Richard Williams and Steve Clark. French horn of Vincent Chansey, who was up earlier. Drums of Lukman Ali and Reggie McDonald. Other percussion are Takatune. Guitar of Skeeter McFarland and Taylor Richardson. The reeds, John Gilmore, Marshall Allen, Elo Omo, James Jackson, Danny Thompson, Kenny Williams, Hutch Jones, Sylvester Batten, and Noel Scott. And all keyboards by Le Sunrod. And this, again, the album's Sunrod, Strange Celestial Road. The title cut, Celestial Road, we heard. Rounder Records release. And we don't have an exact date on this. 1980 is the closest we have. Any thoughts on that, Damon? Can you pinpoint any closer?
That's approximately the time.
Approximately 80, but you can't narrow it to a month or anything like that.
It was cold in the wintertime. I remember that.
Cold in the winter. Okay, well that's better. So, any thoughts on this session? You were talking a little bit about it a moment ago. You want to?
It was one of my first major sessions with Sunrod, and I really enjoyed, this particular moment and era in his life, because that's when he was approaching his versions of the disco concept, and it's quite surprising to me. But the music was so unique that it didn't bother me.
It works really well.
Yeah, it does.
Now, you were saying before that you spent a pretty fair amount of time just hanging out with Sunrod, just spending time with him. What kind of things? I mean, I guess can't picture Sunrod just relaxing during the day. What kind of things does Sunrod do on a normal day?
He does relax. In fact, he relaxes quite uniquely. I see him when I live with him. I lived with him for 3 years, and I experienced and witnessed him after rehearsals, which were very lengthy, which started in the morning by himself, and then later involved other musicians as they became. And he would play up until it was convenient for, not being impolite to neighbors. And afterwards, he would still be involved in emitting Sunrod concept, not Sunrod concept, but a generality of living as it appears in his music. He would be doing it, wording it, and sometimes he would relax in between, making statements, making conjectures. He would relax briefly and come out of it talking. And I found out I thought it would be taxing him, because I would never see him get, let's say, a continuous duration of relaxation, 4 or 5 hours. He would just be always committed and working all the time, late at night. And that's the way geniuses are. The Einsteins, that's the way they are. It's a constant.
Now, besides you living at the house, there were other musicians living at the house. How did they relate to Sunrod and react to Sunrod? Was it a whole, almost like family?
It's not alike. It is. And it's not even relating. It's a unit. And it doesn't even involve one. It's all of them. And it's a unit. And it's it appears intuitively. It's not Big Daddy, father, or leader. You're there, and you like it, and you understand your statement, and you're there. You understand the relationship, and it's not any lessons, any said ordinance that you have to be about. You're there by being there.
Well, we are here at WKCR FM New York, tuned in to the Sunrod Festival with Damon Choice here. We have one last piece queued up, and this is a rare one and also a special one. We just got it in, and this is my favorite of the stuff I've heard with Damon. I heard it for the first time last night, trying to hurry up and tape it while Sunrod was here before he left. It's from the album Voice of the Eternal Tomorrow, a Saturn release, released 9/17/80, also the number. That's the way the Saturn releases work. And that's with Luke Manal.
Wait, I've been examining the lineup here, and it's the same lineup as Strange Celestial Road, minus the 2 guitars and the 2 vocalists. All the other people apparently are the same, at least according to this discography. So we don't have to go through that again. If anyone has any questions regarding this, we can. The phone number here when the music is going on is, even when it's off, but it's 212-280-5223.
One last thing I'd like to mention, just as I noticed that it's missing 2 vocalists and 2 guitarists. When I'd been talking to Ahmed Abdullah after his interview, he said that Sunrod was always doing things in 2s because he was a Gemini, and that's the devil sign. I don't know. An interesting thought I thought I'd throw in. Ahmed thought it was important. Anyway, now, Sunrod from his album Voice of the Eternal Tomorrow with Damon Choice on Vibes. And you are here in tune to WKCR FM New York. And we're here in the studios, me, Andy Rotman, Charles Blass, and Damon Choice. And we just heard from Voice of the Eternal Tomorrow.
And this was Sunrod and the Orchestra, recorded on September 17th of 1980. And we heard Voice of the Eternal Tomorrow, as well as Approach of the Eternal Tomorrow. And as I mentioned before, this features the same lineup as the band on the album Strange Celestial Road, which hopefully most of you Sunrod fans should have out there because it's one of the most available albums. And the lineup is listed on the back of that. If there are any questions as to the lineup, please feel free to call. Again, the number is 212-280-5223. Same lineup, minus guitar and vocals, that is. I guess we did make an error in announcing...
I was wondering, Damon, if you could give us some more specifics about the recording of it.
Well,
Okay.
It's just, it's the same lineup with three exceptions besides, the deletion of particular musicians. This particular recording was recorded by Tommy Hunter, one of the musicians with Sunrod currently.
Now, does he do most of the recording, or?
I'd say he does quite a bit. Quite a bit to say that. I know that one particular time he wasn't playing with Sunrod, and he involved himself in filmmaking, and he wasn't around in particulars. But most of the things that are significant, that Sunrod has currently, he's been involved. He's been the one, the coordinated recording. He's had assistance with Richard Wilkinson, but Tommy Hunter, he's the media man.
Right. And he's been doing that since at least the early 60s, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Film, recordings, video, and drumming.
Well, anyway, seeing as it is close to the witching hour, midnight, at the time we want to preview our Cosmo Mystery Concert, we're going to wrap things up here. And Charles Blass, myself, and everybody listening, I'll wish you, Damon, the best. And thank you for coming up, helping us to understand the music a little better.
Any final thoughts?
It's a big pleasure to be involved, and it's not final.
Right.
It's continuous.
Final for now.
Well, with that in mind, we'll continue with the album Dance of Innocent Passion, and we'll listen to the first cut on that album, Intensity, and that's with Sunrod on organ and synthesizer, Richard Williams on bass, Harry Wilson on vibes, Luke Ali on drums, Marshall Allen on reeds and percussion, Vincent Chancey on French horn, John Gilmore on tenor saxophone, Reggie McDonald on drums, Skeeter McFarlane on guitar, Taylor Richardson on guitar, Walter Miller on trumpet, Michael Ray on trumpet, and of course, Damon Choice on vibraphone. And thank you once again, Damon, and we are here tuned to WKCR FM New York, and we're about to hear Intensity from the Sunrod album, Dance of Innocent Passion. Well, we are tuned here, WKCR FM New York, 89.9. And this is Sunrod Radioactivity, 116 hours of the music of Sunrod. And I am Andy Rotman, and Charles Blass is here with me. And Damon Choice was just here for an interview. I hope you got it. With Damon Choice, the vibraphonist with the orchestra. And we just heard, once again, from the Sunrod album, Dance of Innocent Passion. And
the track that we just heard was entitled Intensity. And the Saturn number, this is a Saturn release, is 1981. Apparently it was recorded 1980, and that's really the closest dating that we have. If anyone knows anything more specific about this date, please let us know. And the lineup on Dance of Innocent Passion: Sunrod organ and synthesizer, Richard Williams on bass, Harry Wilson vibraphone, Lukman Ali drums, Marshall Allen alto, flute and oboe, Artak Atune percussion, Vincent Chancey French horn, Damon Choice, our featured guest, vibraphone, John Gilmore tenor sax, Reggie McDonald drums, Skeeter McFarlane guitar, Walter Miller trumpet, Michael Ray trumpet, Taylor Richardson on guitar. And once again, that was from the album Dance of Innocent Passion, and the piece was Intensity. Well, it is now midnight and the witching hour, and something that's a treat for any Sunrod listener. I think a pretty exceptional concert. Spencer Weston brought us a cassette last night when he was here with Sunrod of our Cosmo Mystery Concert. We have no date. We don't know the personnel. Hopefully, we can figure out some things as we listen to it. I didn't really even get a chance to listen to it fully last night with Sunrod here and all the hustle and bustle. But now we will be playing it. This is the Cosmo Mystery Concert. Get those tape recorders ready. And here it goes, here on WKCR
FM New York, Sunrod Radio at 89.9.